Story. Once upon a time, a brilliant AI assistant helped a team build a strategy on Monday.
Sound familiar? I bet it does. And look, this isn't just some random glitch. It's a core frustration we call AI amnesia. And today, we're going to cure it. Level up, study buddy. Let's build.
All right, so let's get right into it. This whole forgetfulness thing, it's not a bug, you know? It's actually a fundamental limitation of how most AI models are designed. They start every single session completely fresh, which means all that critical context from your last conversation, poof, gone.
And you know what? This is a huge problem. It's why you feel like you're constantly repeating yourself, right? Re-explaining your goals, feeding it the same docs over and over again. It puts this hard ceiling on how valuable an AI can actually be, because it can never really get to know you or the specifics of your projects.
So why does this happen? I mean, to really get a handle on the cure, we gotta understand the disease first. So let's pop the hood and see what's actually going on with how these systems think. The difference here is, well, it's everything. On one hand, you've got the default AI model, which we call stateless. Think of it as having the memory of a goldfish. Starts totally fresh every single time. But on the other hand, that's the goal, the holy grail. We call that stateful. And this is the AI that actually builds on your history, learns your preferences, and starts to feel like a real digital partner. Okay, so how do we get there? How do we actually build that stateful partner we're all dreaming of? Well, the hero of our story today, the big solution, is something called persistent memory.
And this, my friends, is the cure for AI amnesia. Instead of just wiping the slate clean after every chat, persistent memory uses these cool things called vector databases and embeddings. Just think of embeddings as like a unique numerical fingerprint for any piece of data. This whole system lets the AI store knowledge forever. It can remember both the little details, we call that episodic memory, like what we talked about last Tuesday, and the big picture facts, or semantic knowledge.
Okay, I know that might sound a little bit in the weeds, a little technical, so let's use a really simple analogy to make this whole idea just click.
Here's the deal. A sticky note, that's for a quick thought, right? Something you're going to toss out later. But a journal lets you look back, reflect on what you learned last month or even last year, and use that knowledge to make a smarter decision today. That's the kind of power we are talking about unlocking here.
Now, there's a really powerful framework that's making all of this a reality. It's called MemGPT, and it's an absolutely ingenious approach that basically treats an AI's memory just like a computer's operating system.
So think about it like this. MemGPT is super smart about managing memory. It knows what to keep right at its fingertips in its cache for super quick recall, and it knows what to file away in virtual context for long-term storage. This whole structure is what makes real stateful reasoning possible. It's what lets the AI learn continuously, session after session after session. All right, so we've talked about the problem, and we've talked about the tech to solve it, but what's the actual payoff here? What does this feel like in the real world when you're using it? Let's talk about that transformation.
This is the big takeaway, right here. We're shifting from a passive tool you have to command to a proactive digital coworker. So imagine this. You brief your AI on a new marketing campaign. A week goes by. You come back and ask it to draft some ad copy. It doesn't ask you, wait, what campaign? No way. Instead, it says, got it. Based on that target audience and budget we talked about, here are 3 great options. That is the difference. It's not just faster, it's so much smarter.
And the impact here, it's not just a little better, it's exponential. The more you use it, the better it gets. The agent's performance and its value to you just keep climbing as it gathers more history and learns your preferences. Its help becomes way more powerful and totally tailored to you.
Okay, theory is great, but I'm your high-tech mentor, and I want you to actually get your hands dirty with this stuff. So, let's turn this idea into a real capability you can use. Here is your mission, should you choose to accept it. After your very next meeting, I want you to pin the key takeaways and any constraints that came up. Store them in a vector database, that's how you'll create its long-term memory. And then, in your next session with your agent, ask it to recall those specific constraints. Just try it out. I want you to see the power of persistent memory for yourself.
Because this is it. This is the future that we are all building right now. A future where our AI systems aren't just dumb tools we boss around, but are actual digital coworkers who remember, who learn, and who grow right alongside us.
And that is it for this explainer. If you want to keep building the future with us, you know what to do. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Study Buddy with Notebook LM. And as always, stay agent.